Hi, everyone. My name is Michael Magnuson. I am the new public program and outreach coordinator at the Art of Alberta. I just want to welcome everyone to our community tour led by Anna Edwards, the president of Cariwest Festival. To start this program, I would like to do a land acknowledgement. We are currently in the AGA building, which is in Treaty 6 territory in Edmonton, the traditional lands of our diverse Indigenous peoples, including the Cree, Blackfoot, Métis, Nakota Sioux, Iroquois, Dene, Inuit, and Ojibwe, Saulteaux, Anishinaabe. In gratitude to the many First Nations, Métis and Inuit, whose footsteps have marked these lands for generations and whose continue to call this place home today. This is the third edition of the relaunch of our community tour program, which invites a new speaker each month to lead a tour of a current exhibition, giving our audience a unique perspective on the artwork on display. We are in the exhibition Black Every Day, curated by Darren Jordan. This exhibition marks the 15th anniversary of Five Artists, One Love, an organization dedicated to promoting the vibrancy of Edmonton's African Canadian communities. This AGA Lab community tour is made possible in part through support from the Heart and Soul Fund by EPCOR. I would also like to thank the Canada Council for the Arts. This is a hybrid program with people attending in person and online. We will have a Q&A at the end of the program. If you're viewing this tour virtually, please use the Q&A function and we will try to answer those questions at the end. I'm very excited to have Anna Edwards from Cariwest Festival lead this program and also supply the AGA with some wonderful costumes that are on display at the entrance of the gallery. So make sure you come to the AGA and check out those costumes. Cariwest Caribbean Arts Festival is one of Edmonton's most colorful and vibrant festivals, providing a platform to share popular Caribbean music, cuisine, and carnival culture with Western Canada. The 2021 Cariwest Festival will take place August 6th to 8th. It will be a modified hybrid festival combining a virtual cultural showcase hosted on Facebook and YouTube, and in-person events at Churchill Square and the Central Social Hall. Without further ado, here is Anna to take it away.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today at the Alberta Art Gallery.
We're just doing a tour. So
I'm so excited and honored to be here doing this tour for the 15th anniversary of Five Artists, One Love. Darren Jordan has been a visionary in our city. Five Artists, One Love has been a staple in our in the Black History Month program, and he's provided a platform for Black artists to share their art. And what a wonderful thing that we've got our artists, our local artists here in the Alberta Art Gallery. So Black Every Day, what does Black Every Day mean to me? Black Every Day for me is it's being part of the Cariwest Festival. And this year we're celebrating our 37th year of the festival, and I have not missed one yet. So thank you for being here, and we'll start the tour. I'm going to take time to give a little information about the Cariwest Festival and just give my layman's opinion on some of the art that you're going to see today. So thanks for being here. So we're going to start with this beautiful art, beautiful photography. And this photography, I think for myself, I didn't always think of photography as part of, you know, an artwork that you would see in a gallery, but this art here is definitely art. It's definitely art, and just what this artist captures with light and the human body. And for me, it's so exciting to see a Black body in the art. Emily Schouten, she is fantastic. Just the way the light captures the body here. I especially love the showing of the collarbone because mine was lost a long time ago. So just and the painted body is so, it's spectacular art. I invite you to get close and see the details. So this next piece by Holly McKercher, one of the things, like I was really taken because it indicates that the art was taken from a palette, an eyeshadow palette, just reminding me that you can find art in absolutely everything. But I love the colors. And this one is woodland, reminds me of being when you're in the forest and just how all the colors mesh together. And going back to finding art in everything, part of Cariwest, when we're making our costumes, we come up with a theme and we build the theme around the ideas and the costuming, but we sometimes look for materials in everyday sight, like the plastic containers that you get from your salad containers. We use those to make headpieces, and it's incredible what you can do and make a beautiful art out of. This art, this constellation by A.J. Loudon, you have to really stand back to this. The story behind this is quite fascinating. It's kind of tells a story of finding this art. And when I said it's almost overwhelming, because when I see all these people that are part of our history and like the figureheads and the icons and our pioneers, and it's exciting for me to see how he's depicted. And a constellation is actually a neat way of putting it, because when you think of the constellations in the sky, it's kind of guiding you. And he's formed the art to look like they were old items found, which I find really interesting. And you see the faces of Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, yeah, who else? Nefertiti. Even Pam Greer is in there. It's quite larger than life, and that's the way this makes me feel. And some Star Trek references, which I love. Here's another piece by Holly McKercher. And this one is just so bright and colorful. She says that it's inspired after a first date, so it must have been a good date. Because it's colorful and makes me happy. And again, you can find inspiration from so many different things. And this is another one from Holly. And this is centered around a poem that she wrote. Soulless, heartless, trapped pain, injustice, integrity, polluted expression, accosted confession, twisted agony, slow despair, bloodlust power, perverted condition, lies told, manipulation, soul deception manifested. Human frailty births anguish, fear enslaves incessantly, perpetually. So you can see some of those emotions are really dark emotions. And I get that feeling by looking at this picture. It's very dramatic, very dramatic. But the oranges and the reds still bring some joy in it for me. Yeah. I'll move along to the next one. So Lisa Mays, this one is called Ancestral Mardi Gras. And I was really drawn to this one because it is a clear depiction of carnival and the carnival of our ancestors. I'm not sure if many of you know that carnival came out of the celebrations after emancipation. And our ancestors, they made lots of beautiful costumes out of whatever materials they can find at the time. And this just shows that the colors. Back in the day, they were very simple. They didn't have the feathers and the jewels that we put on them now, but it was a clear depiction of what our costumes looked like. And yeah, I love the brightness. Today, our Cariwest costumes, when we get together to make them, we call the places that we make them in, we call them mask camps, because it's kind of like a camp. You're all there together making the costumes and working together on them. And it's kind of a fellowship when they're working together on these costumes. Here's another one by Lisa Mays. This grandmother. And when I read the caption on this one, it shows grandmothers through the years and at a time during slavery, and it depicts the caste system. So as you see that the different shades and the different colors, back in the time of slavery, you had different privileges by the color of your skin. So the lighter colored slaves would get the better jobs, the house jobs, and that this is kind of depicts that. And I think there's an homage to the grandmother. In the Black community, there is a strong matriarchal presence, and much respect for your grandmother for sure. This is another one by Lisa Mays, and I was really fascinated that this painting was all done in 3 colors, just red, white, and blue. And it's amazing that there's so much depth, and it seems like you're seeing more colors than those 3. So quite talent to show that. And this depicts Black pioneers or slaves working on the land. This artist Fitsoon. So this picture, actually, when I first saw it, I figured that it was somewhere on the plains of Alberta. And when I read the caption, I realized the artist was originally from Eritrea, and it was depicting Eritrea. It just reminded me that we're probably more the same than we are different. And the experience, the working the land experience is something that people have experienced all over the world. And in much the same, whether you're in Africa or in your Alberta, other than the weather changes, but it's the same challenges with the difficulty and the hardship in the land. I like the sky in this picture too. It reminds me, it's just such a big sky. And here's another one by Fitsoon. I was totally fascinated with this picture because it left me thinking, what happened in that room? Where was the person that was sitting in that chair? And was it a self-portrait? And why isn't there a head? Yeah, it seems so real, and the room, there's a feeling that comes with this with this picture, and I feel like there's a shadow right there of somebody. But yeah, this one it really got me thinking. I'm going to move into the next room. Gallery. So Braxton Santiago. I have to smile big when I read his name because I think I knew Braxton, well, I'm sure I knew Braxton before he was born. His dad and I played in the Trin-Can Steel Orchestra more than 30 years ago, maybe almost 40 years ago. I don't want to age myself, but we played in the steel band, and Braxton's whole family is very artistic. And as you can see, it's definitely rubbed off on him. This is a portrait of his brother, and an amazing likeness to his brother. And you can see that he's a teenager at the time. I just love the way he depicts him as a teenager, you know, the slouched teenager look, the kind of look on his face like, why are you doing this? Why are you taking a picture of me? Why are you looking at me? That just look on his face that kind of tells it all. But yeah, I love his shading and everything in this picture. This painting, I should say, painting. And Braxton works a lot with the human form, as you can see in his other work here. His detail of the muscles and the way the body moves, I think, is really, really, really talented to show. Yeah. The next pieces here are very abstract and really makes you think. Renice is originally from Jamaica, and a lot of her art portrays some of her Caribbean roots. I love that she's used so many different textures in her work. You can see the fabric, and ceramics, and the detail to really express her work. This is another one from Renice. When I saw this, I really felt it, without even reading the caption, I felt like this was somebody not really knowing how they fit in, like moving from one world to the next world. And it's amazing how the fabric and the wood, and then you see some human features, the eyes, the ears. So you can see that it's a human trying to fit in an environment that maybe they don't fit in. That's the feeling that I get when I look at it. They're trying to fit in an environment and maybe melding into the landscape, but you can still see they don't quite fit in yet. There's even hair braid going into this. Yeah. It's fascinating to see so many mediums used to express. So this seems to be another cultural depiction. Just looking at the fabric and again, mixing the wood and the fabric and the human form into there. Just want to look at the details on what she says about it. And this makes sense now. It's a melting pot. And as you see, all the different fabrics from maybe all different cultures molding together. And as the individual standing on the melting pot. Quite interesting. Another very abstract figure using fabric, clay. Yeah, very interesting. Oh, I also don't want to forget, and I don't want to forget this one, because this to use such a strong, and she's a young artist, this is such a powerful piece. It's a large piece of wood, again, showing that intertwining of the human form with fabric and wood. Definitely a conversation piece. And the detail that was already in the wood is amazing. And how she fit the fabric into it. Yeah. Very beautiful. We're going to wander into the next room. There's another familiar name. So Judy Robinson. Judy Robinson, her father and my father were on the Edmonton Caribbean Cultural Association board back in the 80s and 90s together. And so I've known her for quite a while. Her art, one of the things that's fascinating with her art, she says in order to honor her ancestors, she starts every piece on a black canvas. And whatever comes out of that, she asks for guidance, and whatever comes out of that is what she portrays. And a lot of her work seems to tell a story of our ancestors. This one reminds me of the I can never say that, hieroglyphics that you see on the inside of caves. And tells the story of like mythical creatures or figures that were probably pre our current religions. I really didn't want to miss these ones on this side. Now, these figures here, these paintings, I love that it's of places that you might have driven by, Alberta Pool Elevator in St. Albert, like that. It's exciting to see something that you might know or might have seen. I love to see people of, not only people of color in artwork, but I love to see people that have shapes like real people like me in artwork. So that this is such a joyous painting, because you can see that she's entertaining, she's doing her thing and singing, and it's very true to life. Now this Richard Lipscomb, he didn't put a name to who his artist, but I'm sure I know who this lady is. She looks so familiar, but I won't say it just in case it's not her, but yeah, it really looks like somebody that I know. And that's exactly how she would smile, and she would be under an umbrella too if she needed it. This is clearly my granddaughter, because that's exactly what she would be doing, what she's not supposed to be doing. And yeah, it shows the daring and the freedom of being a child. And there's another everyday scene that and actually that I do see in my neighborhood, like a dad or a granddad walking with a child. Even though I love abstract art, but I'm really drawn to this type of these type of sceneries. So that one I just like. This one is called I Can Fly, and definitely looks. Let's hope she really didn't jump off and try. So these are, I'm not even sure what this type of art is called. I'm really intrigued by it because it reminds me of a time capsule. Like, I'm sure my Uncle Osmond had these shoes, and we used to wear them to parties at the Villa Vesuvius back in the 70s. This is Trevor Gurley Peters, and it's really fascinating. It's on subway art. I like that, but it does remind me of a time capsule. This poem on the wall is also Trevor. And is this his too? Yes. This is definitely a time capsule, or what you might see in a drawer in my bedroom or something. It shows, it's got all kinds of things in here. Bic lighter, zigzag papers, money. Let me read this. Objects collected by Trevor Peters that relate to the years he spent living in Taiwan. Ah, so it is a time capsule. So yeah, just all the things, notebooks. And it really makes me want to go home and make one for myself. Moving into the Janet Bentley Gallery. All these portraits by Shaheen Small. They all look like people I could know. I really admire the shading in these pictures. And how it shows all the different shades of black. This one's death and rebirth to a chorus of Biggie Smalls, because you were somebody before anybody killed you. Acrylic on canvas. So it actually, when I look at it, I have all different emotions, because that looks like the cloud of death, but it talks about death and rebirth. Oh, this by Shoko Caesar. You know, when I first came up to this, I was like, what is this? It looks like an accident, and it is depicting some destruction. So art doesn't always have to come out of something beautiful, but it always tells a story. And this one definitely tells a story. It's showing almost the beauty that can come out of destruction, that the beauty still always exists. And there's a dove flying off after a bombed bus. And so life does go on after something tragic, after something very tragic happens. And I like that the medium is like pencil crayon on paper, and it's just the shading and everything is quite spectacular. This one this, I see joy in it. You know, when somebody's laughing and they throw their head back, and like you see joy, but it also is a look that somebody could have that same expression almost when they're in pain. And that's what he's conveying, the spirit of African pain and joy all in one expression. And I like that this picture is it depicts a night background. You can see the blue that kind of reflects. Yeah. So Keon Courtney, this is charcoal on paper with gold leaf. Now, those are extremely beautiful portraits. I like this one. Notice I have the same hairdo there. These are people that have inspired the artist. The detail in the shading on these is very, very incredible. You can even see the little line in their lip there. It's the detail in the face, every little line and wrinkle. This is quite an honor. And notice the halo and gold leaf, since we lost him last year. Now, Keon Courtney. For me, when I look at this, this is real modern art. And it gives me the feeling of something that I would see in advertising. I like the boldness of the colors. And yeah, just the contrast of the whole thing. And it's really neat that it's on a different medium, like done on, I believe that is like acrylic. Yeah, it's very cool. I'm really excited and happy that Five Artists, One Love was able to bring this exhibition to the Alberta Art Gallery and give the artists this fantastic opportunity to display their work here over a period of time. This video, even though it's not, the sound isn't on right now, but it does show all of the artists that are taking part, or most of the artists that are taking part in the exhibition today. I'll take a few more minutes to tell you more about what's happening at Cariwest this year. So we're doing a hybrid of our regular programming. It was a real challenge this year to actually do the planning because of the changing landscape of the restrictions. So we created a virtual platform. So the virtual platform will be starting the show on Friday night, and we're holding it on at Churchill Square, because we were able to kind of combine the two. So we'll be showing our Friday night program, incorporating some live aspects to the show. And we have a lot of activities for children. It's very family-oriented atmosphere. So the program starts at 5:30, and the actual show will start at 7. So prior to that, it will have face painting. There's truck food vendors, storytelling. And then when the show starts, we'll have different artists that we've had pre-taped on the show. And we're ending the night with a movie under the stars. The movie's called Bazadi, and it's filmed in Trinidad during the carnival, and featuring one of our famous soca artists, Machel Montano. Saturday, we're having a parade, and it's a pop-up parade, generally for the neighborhood. We've chosen a neighborhood to get up close and personal with the festival. And we'll have our rum garden. We partnered with the Central Social Hall. We'll have a rum garden from 12 to 5 on Saturday, and on Sunday it'll be 11 to 4. And it's basically a watch party for the virtual presentation. If you have any questions, I'll be here to answer some questions, but also you can go to our website at cariwest.ca or follow us on Instagram at cariwestYED.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anna. I guess we're going to move on to the question period. We have a couple more minutes, and so we're going to see if there's any questions from the audience here at the AGA or also online. We have people on Facebook and also on Zoom. So if you have your questions, please enter them in the chat. We had a comment earlier that I just wanted to read out because Anna, you weren't able to see it, but it was about an artwork you were talking about. So it was about Fatsum's last painting. It was a submission during a show at 5 Artists, One Love, where a part of the show's theme was Take a Knee. So remember that painting?
Oh,
so
right.
You were having some questions about that. So
okay.
this person just gave some more information. So we're just going to wait if there's any questions. Yeah, we have a comment that they really enjoyed the tour. And so maybe I'll just ask a question. So one of the themes I really saw in the show, and something that you touched on, was beauty. Can you talk a little bit more about like beauty in this exhibition and also beauty in regards to Cariwest?
So beauty in the exhibition, I guess for a lot of people of color, you don't always see images of that look like you especially in the art gallery. So I think seeing that and seeing it in so many different forms, that was really depicting beauty in a form that I can relate to too. As far as Cariwest, well, everything is beautiful about about our parade and our costumes, but our costumes are always built around a theme, and once the theme is decided on, then they start building up from there. And we use feathers and jewels and fabrics to make it all come to one. But more than that, more than the theme, sometimes it just tells a story. There's a lot of traditional masks, and that's what we call our Masquerade Mask. There's a lot of traditional stuff that is really just there to tell a story, and the story of our ancestors, like the jab, which is, they call it, it's like a devil mask. They're either painted blue or painted in black oil. They're not beautiful per se, but they do tell a story, and a story of our ancestors. So Yeah, so it brings its own beauty through storytelling.
Yeah, and we're so lucky at the AGA to have 2 of your costumes on display.
Yes.
So I want to encourage everyone to go downstairs at the atrium where we have those costumes. Can you talk a little bit about like those costumes that are on display, and also just a little bit of the aspect of the community, because you talked a little bit about how costumes are made in a community, and I'm curious if that's something that you can relate to this exhibition as well.
Okay. The costumes that are on display, they were actually from 2017 from the mass band called Trini Fetters. And their theme that year was Faya Phoenix. So spelled F-Y-A-H. So, because that's the way we say Faya. So the colors of it, so the band was mostly red, and then reds and yellows. So it really showed the colors of the flame, and the sparkle is covered with jewels, so the sparkle is there.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah.
I actually just got a question from Lisa on the chat, and they want to know, is there an individual piece that is particularly compelling to you? And if so, why?
There were quite a few pieces that were compelling to me, but somehow the pieces, and now I forgot the artist's name, the pieces that were a mixture of the wood and the fabric, it's not something that I would normally see, and I just thought it was kind of groundbreaking and different, and yeah, it just elicited something to me, and especially this story that it told of something, well, the melting pot, but also the person that was kind of out of their realm, not quite fitting in, but fitting in. Yeah.
Great. Great. Well, we'll just give it another minute. Lisa says, great answer from the chat. Yeah. So it seems like we don't have any other questions, so I'm just going to leave it there. Thank you from myself and Helen, who's behind the camera working on this program, for having you come to the AGA and lead this fantastic tour. It was truly a pleasure working with you, and we are so excited to go to your festival next. It's going to be great. Do you have anything else you want to say?
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for letting us highlight the Cariwest Festival. And I'm, again, very honored to be here, and I encourage everybody to go to 5 Artists, One Love at Black History Month as well, and to come to see the exhibit, because it's really, really interesting in person.
Great. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.